Hi, Sue.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thanks. My neighbor's mowing the lawn in the middle of the day, right when I'm about to be.
It's okay.
Hopefully, you won't see him.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, usually the Zoom's good about kind of staying hyper focused on what's going on here, so
Okay,
we should be in good
good,
shape.
good,
So it's
good.
great to meet you. Where are you coming out of?
Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho.
What
So
about you?
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, that's great. I love Kansas City.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Looked at the
yeah.
college there, but ended up going somewhere else. But it's
Okay,
beautiful.
cool. Yeah, it is. It's a nice town. People like it.
Yeah,
I've been through Idaho. I was just interviewing somebody. I in my 20s, I took a trip across the West and went all the way up the coast and went up into Idaho and all of that. So it's nice.
it's beautiful, and it's not. We're getting a lot of people moving here, but it's not overly populated yet.
Yeah,
It's beautiful, natural, safe. We love it. We've been
yeah.
here 20 years.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, so before we get into your life as a mom and an author and a parent, I want to know, how did you get through COVID? The last 3 years has been quite an ordeal with the world waking up now. How did you get through it, and how has it changed the way that you do things now?
COVID, huh? I have to admit that I have been working from home since before it was ever popular. I would go to extremes as an entrepreneur to make it look like I worked somewhere else, but I was home and the kids were in the other room, and I was doing that for 30 years. And so quite honestly, not much in my life changed. I found that like everybody else was sort of discovering what I had already seen.
Yeah.
So not much really changed for us, or for me anyway, my day to day. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I could still make my living working from home, and not a lot had to adjust. Um, so I really kind of got off easy, I think,
Yeah.
truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get to the essence of what you do on a daily basis. So I want to hypothetically put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids, third graders,
Uh-huh.
and one of them asks you, "What do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
It's funny because even my kids who grew up with me don't know what I do for a living. And it's like my husband is a fighter pilot.
Okay.
So that's easy. They go to the squadron, they see the jet, they see it flying. Oh my gosh, daddy's so cool.
Yeah.
Mommy's in her office with her brain just firing in a million directions, thinking and strategizing, but it's not something visible.
Right.
And we have triplets, and two of them just graduated this past weekend from college. And one of them was like sheepishly, and what exactly is your manufacturer's rep business, mom? Like, I'm like, I put people together and I get commission.
Yeah.
So it's hard to describe to even adults. So to put grade school kids or little elementary school kids in front of me, I think I just say, I get to run my own business, and I put buyers and sellers together, and then I get a fee for that. So
And you write too. You're an author, so you're a
I
writer.
have three different businesses. I'm a manufacturer's rep. I also have my own skincare brand that I created for some of my manufacturer's rep customers.
Yeah.
And then completely unrelated to the businesses, I wrote my book.
Okay.
And I also do mentor parents and work with parents. So
Okay.
that's on the side.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you want to be when you were a kid? When you were the third grade? What was your dream?
I thought I knew I would be in business, but I didn't know that I'd be in sales. And my dad was in sales, and I didn't know what that really entailed. But I always thought I'd be in sales. I would be marching to the beat of my own drum. I know that I never met a rule I didn't want to break. So I knew that I wouldn't be in the corporate world. I don't blend well with, rules. So I knew that it would be some type of sales, maybe, I'm not sure I could have crystallized at that point that I wanted to be in my own business, but I knew that it wasn't going to be corporate America type of
Yeah.
job.
So let's go back to your beginnings, where you were born and raised, and what were some of the seeds that were put into you to want to be an entrepreneur and to want to write and to get to this point in your life?
I grew up in the Midwest, and so I feel very connected to those roots. Um, just we grew up, I grew up in Ohio, and feel very connected to just the basic, simple sort of life.
Yeah.
When I was a senior in high school, we moved to Connecticut. So then I went from the Midwest, where everyone's nice to one another, to the East Coast my senior year of high school, where, people were suspicious about why I would say hello to them.
Yeah.
So I had to get a little bit of an edge to me, and that served me well in business. But I don't know. I feel very connected to that whole Midwestern root thing. And I feel like, I was raised with an older brother and I was really alone. I mean, back in the 60s and 70s, we were using our creativity, we were using our brains. And I find that even as a mom, whatever the children do for play, and even what I know I did for play, which was create a little retail store. I had my little cash register. I was always creating new things, in my mom's office, playing with her office stuff. That manifested into my future being in my own business.
Yeah.
And I was given the freedom to create and the freedom to just, be, which then when I saw my children, when they were getting to high school and college, they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do. And I was able to kind of reconnect them with their childhood. What did you do for play? That's when you're so open and
Yeah.
so creative. And, let's reconnect with that because we are who we are then.
Yeah.
So I would say just being left alone to be able to create and just to be who I am. And that served me well.
So who's been kind of a role model for you in your pursuits and these ideas that you've seen materialize? Who's been kind of that role model?
Well, parents, always parents. But I also do march to the beat of my own drum. I don't know. I'm just very in myself, very connected to myself. Um, just I have my own path that I've created. But my parents, great parents, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and then she went out into the workforce with no college degree, was able to go get a job. And after we got to high school, my dad was no high school, but no college degree, and went running MetLife, Metropolitan Life, was the second in charge, and just clawed his way as a sales rep up to the top, was an excellent salesman. And I kind of just took a little bit from both of them. And so as always, family is everything.
So talk to me a little bit about the book, about how you got to the point where you wanted to write a book on parenting and kind of what the overall uh, summary, so to speak, of what you're really getting at.
Well, I never really wanted kids. I wasn't too keen on the whole child thing. I married a guy who loves kids and wanted kids. So I said, okay, I'll have a couple kids for you. How hard could it be?
Yeah.
And I ended up with triplets, natural triplets, surprise. And I went from 1 to 4 kids overnight. So when you have a person who didn't see themselves in the mom way, wasn't very embracing of that, and then ends up with 4 children overnight, you've got a lot, you got to figure it out. And so I'm working full time. We did depend on my income. My husband was deploying and doing his fighter pilot thing. And so I had a big learning curve to learn how to raise children and how to deal with children. And, in the beginning, I'm a salesperson, I'm a type A, do it because I said, and be happy I asked, right? Like I thought, well, this is, kids are like little mini people. This is what we do. And then when they don't listen, I found myself yelling all the time. And my older son was just kind of glazing over and no one was listening, and it just ramped up. So I had to kind of come to the table and really learn about what it means to be a parent and how to, uh, motivate little beings who still have so much to learn. And due to all of that learning curve and all of that I had to learn, going from not really wanting to be a parent to going to 4, I really immersed myself in it. I went to a parenting class, I read books, and I kind of got in touch with the innate ability that I have to deal with independent children, use psychology and motivation and get them autonomous and independent. So, in a way, I'm the antithesis of a helicopter parent, because I didn't really want to be, so much of a mom. That I was very much like, how soon can you do this yourself type of thing. And that served everybody well. It served me well, them well. They're independent, they're confident. And as the kids were growing and I had more kids coming through the door, their friends, and met the parents, it just became clear to me that we are just having a difficult time raising children in the right way. We're just not either being shown, or like patterns of parenting over the generations. Kids' needs are just so not being met. Their emotional needs, specifically, little girls being raised just no confidence, just no self-esteem, and just the importance of family. And what I knew I was investing into our family and into these four little people, and how I was on the back burner, and how my husband and I needed to partner to invest in these little children. And I just saw it not being done. And then I saw that what I was doing and what we were doing was resulting in such great results, you know. So by the time they got to be teenagers, I'm just seeing how parents are clamping down, and they're um they don't want to let go of control, and they're punishing and they're controlling, and how that's resulting in lack of confidence with the kids, and they're second guessing themselves. By the time they got to teenagers, I said, I really feel compelled to help parents and write a book and get some of this information out there. And that's how that was decided. It was, I'm not really a writer per se,
Sure.
although I did get, a Mom's Choice Award for the book. It's been a bestseller.
Yeah.
It's been well received.
Excellent. Let me ask you this. If you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who would it be?
I really love Sade, the singer.
Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
random
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel so, I don't know, connected. She's so classic and so timeless. And I've listened to her music since, my teenage years, my formative years, and it's just never gone. Every time I hear it, I hear something new, and it's just, she's kind of been with me through all the phases of life, getting married and having kids, and just starting businesses. And I don't know, that her music just kind of talks to me. I would love to meet her. I just
That's
think she's
awesome.
timeless. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, in your life, of all of these pursuits that you've had, what's been a motivator for you? What's been the ultimate thing that's pulled you through and kept you focused?
An ultimate, I am super lucky. I'm very self-motivated.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't look to external things to motivate me. I, I've got this inner kind of discipline, this inner motivation to constantly be curious, to be learning, to improve my processes. I remain curious, and that's been kind of my motivator. Just, and family is always a great motivator. My husband is a huge source of inspiration, and my kids.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in your life, you've gone through a lot of things. You've learned, you've gained wisdom. Let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into the 20-year-old version of yourself. You could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led. What would you tell that younger version?
To let go of control a lot earlier. You don't need to control everything. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
We really clamp down on, and again, especially being an entrepreneur, right? We have certain traits in our personality that we do it all. We wear many hats, and if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. We just have a different way of thinking. We're always firing, and as a result, we tend to be a little bit more controlling. And in my book, I do talk, one of the first chapters I wrote was, how to let go of control, because that was really my biggest impetus into growth and into learning from others, is to just, when I learned to let go of control, I would say those were my black and white days. And letting go of control became a beautiful, bright, brilliant color of life,
Yeah.
where I kind of let it go and became a little bit more spontaneous. And it's something I still work on.
Yeah.
I would say that just
Yeah.
learn how to let go of control earlier.
Sure. So as a writer, what was the book when you were growing up that you read that really either made you want to write someday or made you want to read more?
I wasn't a big reader of stories. I found when I got older, I realized that there are, two types of people. And I mean, this is a generalization, but there's the people that love the story, like my husband, who love to read a book and like follow the story. I am impatient, and I'm like, I see how this is going to end. I'm bored. I love self-help books, so I'm always learning. I like to read about, biographies, or just any kind of self-help where I can learn and grow. Stories bore me. So when I was younger, I didn't really start reading until I got out of college, believe it or not, for fun. And then I started with a 1,000-page book called The Laws of Success that was written by Napoleon Hill. And he's known for, Think and Grow Rich books and sales books, but Laws of Success has really been my Bible. And I read it after college and I rediscovered it a few years ago. And I was looking through it and wow, this really informed me. But one of the most important books, so silly, but it's called Your Greatest Power. It's a book written in the 60s. And he goes through the whole thing and he teases and tantalizes you, your greatest power is this and your greatest power. And then he tells stories. I'm like, what's my damn greatest power? And it turns out that your greatest power is your ability to choose. And that really resonated for me because I felt so empowered by being reminded that at every moment of every day, life is a series of choice and consequence. And that informed my parenting 100%. It's like, well, kids choose, what do you think? And then they get the consequence while there's the safety net of the home and they have to live by that, which again gets back to the whole raising of independent children so that they can go out and cope and make decisions and make mistakes and learn from them. I can't hear you.
So at the end of the day, you're in control of your life, but there's all these people around you, family, friends, clients, colleagues. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am? I don't know that I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that question. And I was really excited because I have a mantra that I write about,
Yeah.
which is that, I'm only in charge of me. I'm not in charge of you. So
Yeah.
you're talking about these other people.
Yeah.
And who do I think I am I am very, again, within myself, very autonomous, very confident, very curious. But I also know that, I live and die by my choices. And I don't worry about other people. And, that really kind of came on with age more confidently. But my mantra is like, I'm only in charge of me. I'm not in charge of you, informed me well during parenting, because you go from really having a lot of impact on your children to then they don't want any impact.
Yeah.
And you have to, it's like, taking gum and stretching it until it snaps. Like, when do I begin the let go process? And so just learning how to realize that I'm only in charge of me and I've let go of control over you and your decisions and I have no skin in that game. Who am I? I'm just me doing my thing that suits me, that makes me happy. And I'm going to accept you for you doing the things that make you happy. And we come together and share ideas and curiosity and have a great time.
That's great. I love that philosophy. Let me ask you this. If anyone wants to buy your book, learn more about you, anything pertaining to your world, where can they go?
They can go to askmomparenting.com. The website, Instagram and Facebook, all Ask Mom Parenting. And my book is available on Amazon called Secrets to Parenting Without Giving a Fuck.
Nice. I love it. I love the title. Cool. This has been
Thank
great,
you.
Sue. Thank you for opening up. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much for having me and asking me these
Absolutely.
great questions. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Absolutely. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.